What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to episode 248 of D&E TAKEOVER. I'm your host, David, back with another episode of D&E TAKEOVER. Unfortunately, you can't see that Eric is not here today. He is feeling under the weather. So hopefully he feels better, and we get him back on the podcast back on Monday to review the Super Bowl. But overall, guys, the show must go on, and we got a couple of topics to talk about today. Nothing really crazy is going on. We got the Super Bowl that's coming up on Sunday that obviously everyone's waiting for, and I think everyone's excited for, at least unless you are, I guess you're excited for it if you're a football fan, but more excited about it if you're a 49ers fan or a Chiefs fan, or Taylor Swift, whatever you want to say. Just kidding. I'm not mentioning here. But overall, guys, we're also going to be talking about the NBA trades that are going on right now because the trade deadline just ended today, and we got a lot of round of applauses. And I know Mario's going to like this one because one of our teams succeeded in the NBA trade deadline, and you know who I'm talking about. We're going to get into that team's trades that we're going to get into. Also, we're going to be talking about some other teams that made some impactful trades that either I liked or I disliked, and I want to hear you guys down below what you guys think about these NBA trades. Because even though NBA has been at least under the radar right now, at least for this podcast, because football is overtaking it. As of right now, the NBA trade deadline is very prominent. And also we got for the All-Star break coming up in about a week and a half. It's coming up soon. So we got a lot to talk about there. But anyway, real quick in the comments, we got Mario. Yo, what's going on, Mario? Hope you're having a great day, my dude. Mario said Eric is sick because the Ravens lost last week. Yeah, that's a different type of sick though. Mario said feel better, Eric. Yes, of course. And also Mario said Bogdanovich and Burke for a bag of donuts in the second rounders is a steal. I was just about to say that, dude. They got Bojan Bogdanovich and they got Alec Burks for Quentin Grimes, Ryan Arcidiacono, whatever his last name is. We don't know his last name. Who else? Flynn and Evan Fournier and 3 second-round picks. One, like most of those guys don't even play regularly on the lineup, so they have no impact on the team whatsoever, unless you say locker room chemistry. And over that, we get in exchange a guy who's averaging 20 points a game in Bogdanovich, and also a guy who can shoot the three better than he shoots a two-pointer, and that is Alec Burks. And we had Alec Burks on the team years ago, and we know how much of a stud he was for six-man at one point in his career. So the Knicks have been doing amazing work, and it's not even. I saw a stat saying today is that the fact is that this team didn't give up a first-round pick in any of their trades that they did. From getting OG Anunoby to doing where they are now, they didn't give up any first-round picks, which is absolutely phenomenal, which keeps the door open for signing a superstar in the offseason or potentially trading for a superstar in the offseason or getting a high pick in the draft. It always leaves the door open for more improvement, and right now the Knicks are looking like the winners of the NBA trade deadline. And if Eric's here, you'd be like, oh, no, blah, blah. But it's the facts. The Knicks are looking very good right now, and God only knows what's going to happen next. But anyway, hopefully they make it far. Hopefully they make it past the second round. Win the second round, and we'll be happy. But anyway, I want to talk a little bit about football real quick because I want everyone to talk about it in the comments down below. Who do you have winning the Super Bowl? Because we've been talking about this for a little while, but I feel like I want to get more into the depth of the keys and who's going to win. Like, there's a lot of key things that certain players or certain teams need to do on offensive or defensive side that can change the script and really force a more shift in terms of their direction in terms of how they're going to win. But Mario said 2 great shooters, dude. Yeah, I know. We got Bogdanovich and Alec Burks shooting phenomenal. Bogdanovich is shooting 46.8% from the field, and Alec Burks is shooting 40% from 3. You can't ask for more than that. It's amazing. It's amazing. It's fantastic, and I'm so happy to watch him. But anyway, going back on the Super Bowl, we got a matchup against the 49ers going up against the Kansas City Chiefs. And for anyone, it's in Las Vegas, so that's gonna be a fun little one. Nice stadium that they have. I think it's Alleran Stadium or something like that. I don't know what the hell it's called, but it's a super nice stadium. They just recently renovated it. The thing was like a $2 billion renovation. Looks super nice field. And now all of a sudden we got 2 phenomenal teams who made it last man standing wins. And if I got to go basic, I know we've been doing basic answers on this podcast and who we think's going to win, but we never really got into depth in it. And basic standing, I'm still going to stand by my statement. I think the Chiefs are going to win. Reason being, the Chiefs have Patrick Mahomes, and I will not bet against Patrick Mahomes. And we all know what he can do in the Super Bowl, let alone the postseason. We know what he can do in the Super Bowl. He's the first. I think he's the youngest. He's the first quarterback in NFL history to have 4 Super Bowl appearances under the age of 30, which is absolutely blasphemy when you really think about that. And also, when you really dissect how good this team is, this is probably one of the best defenses that the Kansas City Chiefs have had in their whole in Patrick Mahomes' career and in Patrick Mahomes' career. You have friggin' a young defense, Bolton. You have whatever that white guy's name is, not Caucasian. Is it Cofitis? I don't know. He's pretty good though. Let me see. Wait. Yeah, Karfalitis, whatever his name is. Karfalitis. Yeah. We also got Chris Jones. You got a bunch of Nick Bolton, like I mentioned before. Willie Gay. You got Snead. You got all these big, great guys, and this is probably one of their best secondaries and their best defensive fronts that they've had in a while. And honestly, the best one that's been in the Super Bowl. And they still got Patrick Mahomes on the other side. You're talking about Patrick Mahomes, the guy who had the most interceptions in his career this season, this year. And now all of a sudden in the postseason, he has yet to throw or at least have a turnover, which goes to show his clutch gene and how good he is in the playoffs. But right now, dude, I really think this is an obvious decision, and a lot of people might disagree or agree with me. And comment down below what you think. But I really think the Chiefs are going to win this, and I think the only way that they don't is if that defensive line of 49ers get after Patrick Mahomes. That's the only way I can really think, because you spent money on, you spend trades on getting not Chris Young, Chase Young. You have Nick Bosa, you have Fred Warner, you have Armstead. You got all these big guys up front, and Warner's one of the best linebackers in the game. They literally have a fantastic defense. Like, I just listed a couple of them right there, but if you really want to go into the deep stats, you got Eric Armstead, you got Nick Bosa, you got Chase Young, right? 3 beasts. You got Javon Hargrave, 4 beasts right there. You got Kinlaw, another guy who's really good. You also got Dre Greenlaw on linebacker position. You got Fred Warner linebacker position. On the secondary, you got Kadavius Ward, who is a pretty good center cornerback. Logan Ryan. You got just basically a bunch of guys that have been there before, and just a bunch of guys that are just great in general. Their defense is fantastic. We all know that, but I think it's gonna have to be on putting pressure on Mahomes. If you give Mahomes time, and his offensive line is good at doing that, and also Mahomes is great at creating space and making time for himself. But overall, if that happens, you're looking at a situation where, I don't even know, you're looking at a situation where Mahomes could go off and score 4 touchdowns. I see that very possibly. I think when you really go down to the nitty gritty and you look at the Super Bowl, it's just one game. Anything can happen. And I think when you look at it, there's no, I'm the best ranked defense in the world, I'm the best offense in the world. Like, at this point, it's just a game. Forget about the rankings, because all it takes is one game for you to be like, oh, I was the best, and then all of a sudden I only scored 7 points. Like, huh? It just all that happens is one game to dictate whether you win it or not. But I think the key for success is for the 49ers is for Nick Bosa, Chase Young, and Javon Hargrave, and also Eric Armstead to get after Patrick Mahomes. If you pressure him and don't let him get more than 2 seconds in the pocket, which is very rare, you can see you yourself giving a good chance. And I can't even say a definite win by saying that. Usually with a lot of other quarterbacks, it can be like, if you can get to him and, like, pressure him early and get pressure on him, then you can win the game. I can say that definitely. But with Patrick Mahomes, I can be like, even if you put pressure on him, it's still a chance that they could win, but you have a better chance of succeeding, if that makes any sense for you. But overall, I do think the keys for success for the 49ers are, in fact, A, put pressure on Mahomes. That front line, you paid that bunch of money for that front line, that front defensive line, and they got to produce. Also, B, get CMC going. He is your MVP candidate, CMC. And guys, comment down below if you think I'm being wrong, or just put your opinion down below. Because overall, I think I'm pretty on with this one. CMC is your best player on that offense, and I think everyone can agree with me. Unless you're a Brock Purdy, total fan that thinks he's the best player on the team. Brock Purdy's good, but CMC is the whole machine. Same thing with the Giants offense. Saquon Barkley is the best player on that team and is prominent. But let me get a water break. Sorry about that. But overall, CMC is the best player on that team, the guy who takes majority of the workload. If you have Brock Purdy throwing the ball more than 40 times, you lost the game. If you have Brock Purdy throwing the ball more than 40 times, you lost the game. Because overall, you need to keep this offense two-dimensional. You got to start off strong with the run game. Once you have the run game, it opens up the game for the passing game, and that's where Brock Purdy can thrive. But it all starts off where CMC has to produce. It's just that plain and simple. There's no A plus B equals C. No A squared plus B squared equals C squared. None of this physics. None of this science stuff. It's basically 1 plus 2. 1 plus 2. 1 plus 1 equals 2. This is what it goes down to. If you hand the ball off to CMC, whether it's in handing off or passing game, let him cook. You're going to open up the game for the rest of you, the rest of the players. The rest of the offense is going to open up. That's just how it is at the end of the day. But overall, yeah, I think the key for success for the 49ers, I'll recap it. CMC, run through CMC, get him started early, because if you don't, it's going to be a long, long night for you. And also, that front line, Chase Young, Nick Bosa, Eric Armstead, and also Javon Hargrave. Get after Mahomes. Don't let him get more than 2 seconds in the pocket. Create some pressure, make him feel uncomfortable. Because this season, we have seen when he's uncomfortable, he's not particularly as good as he was in the past, but he's still phenomenal. But he's not as confident as he is when he's pressured as when he has time. Obviously not when it's very, very much the same for a lot of these quarterbacks in the NFL. Now for the keys in the Kansas City Chiefs. I think it's very simple as well. Number one, you have Patrick Mahomes. I think that's the number one key right there. You have Patrick Mahomes, one of the best players, if not one of the greatest players of all time that we're practically witnessing right now. I'm not saying it yet because he's still young, but we're witnessing a great right now. If he wins this trophy, we're witnessing something we've probably never seen in a while, ever since Tom Brady. But overall, just in terms of the offensive end, get the ball on Travis Kelce's hands as soon as possible, because Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce connection is so strong, and that's why they lead. That's why Travis Kelce has the most receptions in postseason history, past Jerry Rice. Like, it's because of that connection they've had over the course of their postseason career. And if you get Mahomes started with Travis Kelce early, it opens up Isaiah Pacheco. It's very simple, guys. Like, people try to overcomplicate the game, but when you really break it down into simplistic terms, if you start off early, if you dominate the run game early, it opens up the passing game, which creates a two-dimensional offense. It's really hard to stop. Now, all of a sudden, if you have a good passing game, it's going to open up the run game. It goes hand in hand, give or take. But the thing is, if you have a bad run game, you have to rely on the passing game, and it makes it more difficult to rely to be consistently good and have plays available that will help you succeed, because you can only rely on the passing plays instead of the running plays. But overall, also Isaiah Pacheco's to have a good game. A lot of people were predicting him to have 100+ yards and be pretty much the star guy in offense. I don't see it. I think the whole offense is going to run through Patrick Mahomes. I do think they're going to start off early with the passing game, and then they're going to slowly kill him in like quarters 3 and 4 with the Isaiah Pacheco run game, because we know he can run. But their key on offense is to get Patrick Mahomes started and just let him do his thing to Travis Kelce, get that connection going early. Now on the defensive end, here's the thing. You got Brock Purdy. This is his first ever Super Bowl appearance. He's going to be a little nervous, a little bit of antics, right? He's not as experienced as other quarterbacks he versed in the Super Bowl. So here's the thing. What do you got to do to him? It's very plain and simple. You got to apply pressure. Chris Jones, apply pressure to Brock Purdy. Make him feel uncomfortable. And I'm not saying sack him every single play. That's physically impossible. But you got to at least apply pressure to him in the pocket where he can feel uncomfortable throwing the football. And then once he feels uncomfortable and he starts missing throws, they're going to have to rely on the run game. And then after that, it's pretty much it's really easier to dictate and predict a play that's going to happen when you know that they can only run the football effectively during the course of the game. But yeah, I think it would just be the same as it is for the 49ers defense as it is for the Chiefs. Get after Brock Purdy, get after the quarterback. Just that simple. I think once you can slow down the guy who has the ball in his hands the most of the time, you're going to be very, very successful in the way you have a better chance of success. But anyway, anything can happen. I do, in fact, have the Kansas City Chiefs winning this game. I hope the 49ers win, but we'll see what happens. I do have the Kansas City Chiefs winning it. I think it will be a score of 31-21. I'm standing by that. If we go in on Monday and it says the 49ers won the Super Bowl, it's because CMC went off for 150 yards and 2 touchdowns, and Brock Purdy did not turn over the ball. Now, if we go into the Chiefs winning it, it's because Travis Kelce had 2 touchdowns, Patrick Mahomes threw 4, monstrous game, and that defense held up. That's it. That's basically as simple as what it is. That's all I'm trying to say. Damn, guys, I don't know why, but this water's hitting good today. Oh my god! Sometimes, some days when you're just talking a lot, just nothing better than just plain old water, man. I gotta be honest. But anyway, just to recap, I got the Kansas City Chiefs winning this 31-21. I hope the 49ers win, but most likely looks like the Chiefs are gonna run away with this because. And the reason why I want the 49ers to win is not because of the whole Taylor Swift thing. I could really care less about that. It's because of the fact is you always see the guy win all the time. It's like you want to change it up. I want to see CMC win his first ever Super Bowl trophy, his first ever Super Bowl. So I want to see him get that W and get that Super Bowl ring for him. But overall, enough for the NFL, guys. Let's get into a little bit of the NBA action that we're going to go. And like I said, guys, today's going to be a short little quick episode, just basically updating you on everything that's happening in the sports world right now. And one of the major things in the sports world right now is, in fact, NBA trade deadline just ended today. And the trade deadline's over. And now we have some trades that we have to go over. Some of them that might have won, some of them that lost. And we're going to discuss impact. And some of them are just like, why? But if we got to get into one major one that we want to get into, this happened earlier on in the day that I thought was very prominent, very interesting one. Buddy Hield to the 76ers. The reason why this is very interesting because the Pacers are trading Buddy Hield to the 76ers for Marcus Morris, Furkan Korkmaz, and 3 second-round picks. Buddy Hield has been kind of on a decline ever since 2-3 years ago, but he's still putting up numbers where he's a consistent shooter. Like he's still a guy that you'd want in your perimeter in the wing and shooting that 3-pointer. He's just that good from 3. So overall on the 76ers, it helps improve their perimeter shooting, their 3-point shooting. A spot where they kind of lacked in a sense, because if you look at that roster, you had Joel Embiid, you got Tyrese Maxey, who's your only basically 3-point threat that's consistent from out there. I'm trying to pull up the rest of their numbers. They got basically trying to say not a lot of 3-point shooters. They have Tyrese Maxey. Now they have Buddy Hield, like Tobias Harris, who's kind of regressing. Like they had Joel Embiid. Joel Embiid's a really good 3-point shooter, but he's not like very consistent where the point where he's shooting like 7 a game. He's shooting like luckily maybe 3 or 4, depending on how good of his night is. But overall, like it adds another threat to the offensive scoring issue, which if you look at their numbers, they're ranked pretty high on the defensive end, so it helps them out a lot on offensive scoring and offensive points per game and offensive 3 points. Overall though, does it really change anything? No, I think a major issue they're going to miss is in fact that the second round picks, I think are going to be 3 of them is I think a lot for Buddy Hield, but also Korkmaz. I think he puts a little bit more of a bigger impact to a team than a lot of people think. But if I got to grade this trade, I give it a solid B+. I think getting Buddy Hield in addition of getting rid of 2 guys that necessarily not going to have as big of an impact as Buddy Hield's going to have on your team, I think overall is a W. So round of applause to the 76ers for getting that done. Does it make them a championship contending team? I don't think it beats teams like the Bucks, Celtics, or even the Knicks. It's funny how I'm putting them in the mix. Any of those teams from the East, I think they have a hard time beating. So in that sense, no. Next one I want to talk about is, in fact, the one that happened recently, right after that one, actually. Gordon Hayward to the Thunder for Trey Mann, Davis Bertans, Merrick, I don't know that guy's name, and draft compensation. It's so funny to watch the Thunder because a couple of years ago they were one of those teams that everyone was laughing at and everyone was just like looking, oh, pray for their future, blah blah blah. They're going to be but well, they're not going to be as good, and they have a lot of draft picks. So see if they draft good and all that stuff. Ever since they got Shea's been developed into a superstar all-star, and all of a sudden they got Chet on this team. They got Dort. They got Josh Giddey. Hey, Josh Giddey. Now they got Gordon Hayward. They got Jalen Williams in the squad. They got a bunch of guys that can come off the bench and put off great numbers. Overall, they have a great team, and it figures to why they're number one in the West in this squad. By adding Gordon Hayward, it's a little iffy in my standpoint because he is, in fact, 33 years old and he's getting up there. But in terms of production, Gordon Hayward's still averaging, I'm rounding up, still averaging 15 points, 5 rebounds, and 5 assists on the season. So overall, and shooting 47% from the field. So overall, it's still a great piece to add in that sense. And in terms of the amount that you gave up, Davis Bertans, Merrick, and Trey Mann, I don't really think you gave up anyone that isn't replaceable. I think if Gordon Hayward adds a more of a scoring threat, and he can go get a bucket when Shea is not having a game or something like that. So I think this is another W for the Thunder. I'm going to give it another B+. I do think this is really good. Their future in OKC, man, looks very bright with all their first round picks. We got to watch out for them because we got to see how that rolls. But anyway, W for the OKC Thunder. I do think it makes them better. But overall, I do think it makes OKC Thunder better. But in terms of it, it's like I don't really think it makes them that much better. I just think that they just already been a great team. So that's what I'm really looking at. But real quick, we got Eric in the building. What's going on, Eric? He said I just came in and saw Mario being crazy. Hope you're having a great day. Great dude. Great day, my dude. But I don't know why, but this water's taking crazy. Eric's like, I'm drinking hot tea right now. Oh, very nice. But anyway, I do want to discuss one other, one other trade that I was really, really excited about. And since Eric's here, I think it's perfect time to really talk about it. The New York Knicks traded for Bojan Bogdanovic from the Detroit Pistons. And also, thank you, Niles, for this. We really appreciate it. The Knicks received Alec Burks and Bojan Bogdanovic in exchange for Quentin Grimes, Evan Fournier, Malachi Flynn, Ryan Archibald, and 2 second-round picks. Listen. I don't want to get my hopes up because obviously anything can happen. I do think that the Bucks and the Celtics are better teams than us in the East. But overall, you look at the value the Knicks got without giving up a first-round pick. They required OG Anunoby, Bojan Bogdanovic, and Alec Burks without giving up a first-round pick. Ridiculous. You can't ask for anything better. They're playing. They're phenomenal, and that the front office did a good job in acquiring all these guys without trading away valuable picks. So I got to give them props for that. Now, if we really got to dive into the player aspect in this, how much that makes the Knicks better. If you look at it, Bogdanovic on the season is averaging 20 points a game. 20 points, 3 rebounds, 3 assists. He's a 20-point per game player, and we got him for a second-round pick and a couple of guys that we don't even use on the team. And also, you got Alec Burks, who's adding to the 3-point shooting level, and he's averaging 13 points a game. He shoots 40% from 3. Just overall, just great front office work in a sense because it adds a bench. Something that a lot of Knicks fans were really worried about going deep into the playoffs. Because if you look at that lineup before, you were talking about Quentin Grimes coming off the bench with Isaiah Hartenstein, Josh Hart, Precious Achiuwa, Malachi Flynn. Like, it just wasn't enough to, like, if you're going to go deeper in the playoffs, to really get you over that hump. And one of the major problems we look at with teams is that, like, with playoff teams, is like, do they have a good enough bench where if their superstars are sitting for 3 minutes, they don't officially get blown out, they can hold their own? And I feel like with the Knicks, by adding Bogdanovic off the bench and Alec Burks, it gives them another level where Bogdanovic he's a scorer. He can drop 20 points, he can drop 30 points, he can drop 40 points a game if he really wanted to. And now he's coming off the bench, and I think it adds a certain level to this team. So I think it's a W. And right here, people updated the New York Knicks potential lineup, and it's very. I don't know about you, but it looks good. I gotta see what happens before I can make a decision on how they really work. But right now, their lineup looks really good, and I think a lot of teams in the NBA were probably not scared of the Knicks because that's not the right word. But Jalen Brunson's playing an all-star level. Julius Randle's playing an all-star level. Ever since they got OG, they've been playing really good defensively. The Knicks look like they went from a tier of an A minus, a B plus tier to now they're in the A's, A minus, A tier. Like that's just how good they got by doing these trades. We gotta see how it works for them, obviously. But I think with a great coach like Coach Tibbs, I think it can get done and anything's possible. But if you look at this potential lineup for the Knicks, you got Jalen Brunson starting, Dante DiVincenzo shooting guard, OG Anunoby small forward, Julius Randle power, and Mitchell Robinson, who hasn't even come back from injury for the Knicks yet. And he's supposed to come back, and I think by the end of the month or something. That's the starting lineup. Now, if you look at the bench, you got Precious Achiuwa, you got Josh Hart, you got Isaiah Hartenstein, you got Alec Burks, and now you got Bogdanovich. That's a crazy lineup. That's a crazy lineup right there. One of the main issues I had with them trading away Manuel quickly is that they didn't have a six-man. And now you're looking at a guy like Josh Hart, who's playing really good for them. And now you got Bogdanovich, who can be a six-man. And Alec Burks can put up decent numbers. He can put up more numbers than Grimes. I looked at Grimes' numbers on the season. He's averaging 7 points. So overall, he's averaging more points than Burks is averaging more points than Grimes. So I think it's overall, if you look at the value that we got, I think it's overall W. And I don't know how the Knicks pulled it up. I think the Pistons were just like, take them. We don't care anymore at this point. But overall, I think it was a W trade for the Knicks, and they made them so much better. It made them so much better. And we got to see how it actually works. But on paper, it made them so much better. We got to see how it all fits. But hopefully, I'm seeing the Knicks on Saturday, so hopefully Bogdanovich is playing with Alec Burks on Saturday because we desperately need some players because everyone's injured. With you got Julius Randle out, you got Mitchell Robinson out, you got OG out, you got Jalen Brunson out. It's not really the best lineup for the Knicks right now. And right now they're sitting pretty in third place in the East. So I'm sorry, sitting fourth place in the East. So they need those guys to get back fast. But Eric said, the Knicks suck. I don't care. Just a hater. He's like, get your hopes up, please. Get them up. Listen, it's not about getting the hopes up. I just think you can't tell me by looking at this team that you don't think that this team's good. This team's really good, and I think that I'm hoping for them to get past the second round, at least. And I think they can make it to an Eastern Conference Finals. I'm not saying they go to a final, but I think they can make it to an Eastern Conference Final, and that's where you get issued, where you get the verse either the Milwaukee Bucks or the Celtics, and that's where you get your blessings counted because that's going to be a very tough teams for them to verse. But anyway, other trades that really happened that just basically go through real quick, and then we'll wrap up with the show. Also, what I wanted to talk about was the Mavericks improving their lineup. You got the Wizards trading Daniel Gafford to the Magic. You got the Wizards trading Daniel Gafford, their center, to the Mavs for Richard Holmes and draft compensation, and also where else? And also the Mavs got also PJ Washington in exchange for Grant Williams, Seth Curry, and a 2027 first round draft pick. So overall, if you look at and also the Dallas Mavericks are getting 2 second round picks. Overall, if you look at it, PJ Washington and Daniel Gafford went to the Mavs for Grant Williams, Seth Curry, a first round pick, and also where's the other one? Where is it? Where I just had it. I swear, there it is. Yeah, for Richard Holmes, like all those players for two big men, and that's the one thing I like about what the Mavericks did, because one of their biggest issues I had for them for the last couple of years, and Eric can attest to me, and anyone who listens to this podcast can attest, is the fact is one of the major issues I was talking about them is they have no consistent rebounder. They got no big man that can shoot consistently and also apply that defensive pressure and be that rebounding threat that this team desperately needs. This team always finishes in the bottom 5 every single season in rebounds per game because they have no height. And you have Luka Doncic leading your team in rebounds. It's not really a good sign for you guys to be championship contending. So I think adding a guy like Daniel Gafford and also adding a guy like PJ Washington really adds a height level to them. And also adds that rebounding factor for them as well. You know, Daniel Gafford's averaging 11 points, 8 rebounds, and 2 assists on the season, shooting 69% from the field. Like I said, averaging 8 rebounds, another big star spot for this this Dallas Mavericks team. And you got PJ Washington averaging 14, 5 rebounds. Like overall, they're helping out their perimeter defense and also they're helping out their perimeter defense and also the rebounding. So I'm very impressed with the Dallas Mavericks in getting this. They did give up Grant Williams, who I thought he was very beneficial to this team. But obviously, they got two guys I feel like will fit the scheme a lot better with them in Dallas. So I do expect Dallas to move up their rankings from ultimately first sitting in 8th place. They should at least be out of the play-in spot and into a top 6 spot. I do think that can happen after this trade. Let's see how it goes. But anyway, let's see how this one goes. Anyway, Eric said there's beef in WWE. Cody versus Roman at Mania. Nuts. This guy lives in MetLife Stadium. Who? What guy? He said they're gonna lose first round. Who? The Dallas Mavericks? What are you talking about? You gotta be more specific. Who's they? Who they? Damn. But any other trades that I really want to discuss that I'll just give you a quick little update that really have no significance or that teams lost. You have the Warriors trading Corey Joseph to the Pacers for a 2nd round pick. Don't really care. The 76ers trading Jalen Springer to the Celtics for a 2nd round pick. Don't really care. Also, you have Robin Lopez going to the Kings. Don't really care. You got the Spurs buying out Marcus Morris. Don't care. You did have DeJounte Murray not getting traded, which I thought was a very shock for the Hawks because they were speculating him around him very much, and now they're not going to get anything. We'll see what happens what they do in the offseason, but very interesting story to watch out for. The Spurs trading for Doug McDermott. Don't care really. What else? Yeah, we got another one where the Suns, Suns, Nets, and Grizzlies trade. So the Suns received Royce O'Neal, Davis Roddy, and the Nets received 3 second-round picks, and the Grizzlies received Utah Watanabe in a pick swap to Phoenix. And also, there's 3 other players that might go to Brooklyn or Memphis. They don't know yet, and it's Bates Diop, Jordan Goodwin, and also Metu. So those are 3 guys that could potentially go to Brooklyn or Memphis or both. So we got to watch out for more information on that trade. Another trade that I don't know. I think the Brooklyn Nets are at a point where they're just basically trying to get as much draft compensation because they're basically in a deficit after trading with Houston Rockets and getting that James Harden trade, giving up 4 or 5 first-round draft picks. They're desperately trying to rebuild and trying to get draft compensation. 3 second-round picks are the way to do it. Some more action around the league. What else? Here we go. Killian Hayes. If Knives isn't here, Killian Hayes got a wave, so I think it's a round of applause for that. He's always wanted that guy out of there. Also, Patrick Beverley got traded to the Bucks for Cam Payne in the 2nd-round pick, which I thought was very interesting because it adds a different type of intensity on defense for the Bucks. Because one of their major issues was that ever since they lost Drew Holiday, is that their defensive efficiency is when skyrocketed down. Like they're not as good as they are in defense, specifically perimeter. Giannis and Brook Lopez are doing their thing in the paint, but it's just the guys on the perimeter that their defense is not as persistent. And also, if you look at a guy like Drew Holiday, what's his number one key in his game is his defense, perimeter defense. And now they add a guy like Pat Bev. It may not seem like a big thing, like he's not getting a superstar, but in terms of the defensive ability and the locker room and the aggressiveness that they're getting out of Patrick Beverley, it's a W for the Bucks. It's a W before the Bucks. And I know him and Dame have some beef back in the past, but they're gonna have to put it aside and actually play like teammates because adding a guy like Pat Bev, especially coming off of the bench, is really going to help your defense. And I wouldn't be surprised if the I wouldn't be surprised if the Bucks get better on the defensive end after this trade. He said, "What? You?" So I said all that when you were talking about the Knicks. This guy lives in MetLife Stadium. Why would I live in MetLife Stadium? Like, I don't know what the point of that was. The Jets and the Giants play MetLife. unless you met MSG. But other trades that went on. Nope, no. Talk about that one. Dennis Schroeder got traded to Dennis Schroeder and Thaddeus Young to the Nets for Spencer Dinwiddie. A lot of my friends are talking about how the Nets just fleeced the Raptors, and honestly, and all I can really think about is no. I think it's like a who cares type of trade. I think no one got better. I think no one got worse. So overall, we got Dennis Schroeder, a guy that a couple of years ago was looking at a $70 million contract, and now last year he signed a 1-year deal. Like overall, I don't really think it makes the Nets ultimately better. I don't think it makes them ultimately worse. I just think it's one of those things where it keeps them above. And I think the same thing for the Raptors. I don't think it makes them ultimately better, but I don't think it makes them ultimately worse. So we gotta see what happens. And also, they traded Dennis Smith Jr. on that trade as well. And that's pretty much all she wrote. No, sorry, one more trade. For 76ers are trading Daniel House Jr. in a second-round pick to the Pistons. I don't think no one really cares about that one. And then also last trade, you got the Jazz trading Kelly Olynyk and Obarji. What the hell are these names? To the Raptors for Kira Lewis, Otto Porter, and a first-round pick. The fact that the Raptors gave up a first-round pick for Obaji, and Kelly Olynyk is absolutely blasphemy. That sucks. That's a boo. You got a first-round pick for these dudes, and the Knicks did not give a first-round pick out for Alec Burks or Bojan Bogdanovic. This doesn't make any sense, guys. Doesn't make any sense. Like I can see the Mavs giving up a first-round pick for PJ Washington, but the fact is you're giving a first-round pick away for Kelly Olynyk. Makes no sense. It really doesn't make no sense, and I'm still questioning that. But I mean, if you look at the Raptors side, I don't think they're in a position where they're really going to make a big run. They're not even a team that they're fighting for a playing spot right now. They have a young core. They got Emmanuel Quickly, they got RJ Barrett, they got Scotty Barnes, they got great players that are still young that can grow with this team. I would honestly, if I was them, I would just keep the young team and keep the picks. And the fact that you're giving away a first-round pick for a guy like Kelly Olynyk, I don't know much about Obaji, but overall, I think it's not really worth it in the sense because if that trade was for a team like the Bucks or the OKC Thunder or the Nuggets, a team that's contention, the Celtics are contention for a championship, like, all right, you're adding a veteran piece that can potentially do something on the bench. But for the Raptors, it's like you gave away a first-round pick for this. Like, I don't really see no benefit. So I think it's kind of an L for the Raptors, but not really too much because, like I said, they're not really going to make that much noise. I do think they still stay consistent in terms of how good this team is. But without further ado, guys, that's all she wrote on the NBA trades. That's all she wrote for the NBA trades. Yeah, that's what I'm saying, Eric. He said, OMG, not MetLife. Yeah, MSG, bro. Yeah. That's why I was confused. I'm like, this dude said MetLife. I'm like, I'm not even talking about the Jets or the Giants. No, but I will say, and this is my last. The more I go to sporting events, the more I realize that I'd rather just stay home and watch the game. It just gets to a point where it's just like taking the trade to the city, and like it just takes a toll on you, dude. It really does. It's just like you waste you watch the game for 2 hours, and you're on the train for like more than that. I'm on the train for 3 hours total, and the game's 2.5. So it's like I'm on the train more amount of time than I am actually watching the game. When I could be at home in my pajamas, no lines in the bathroom, food in the fridge, and I get to watch the game whenever I want in my PJs. I can't do that in Madison Square Garden, but I'm excited because I'm going to the game on Saturday. But hopefully Jalen Brunson plays, because if he doesn't, we're gonna have some issues. Overall, that's all she wrote on the NBA trades. Without further ado, I'd like to get into our fun little games before we close out the show. But Mr. Motivation said, Mr. Motivation's in the house. What's going on? He said, it's your boy, Mr. Motivations. How you doing, dude? Hope you had a great day. So where Eric? I had a question for him. Eric's in the chat right now. You can still ask him the question, but Eric's not feeling so good. His throat hurts, so he's currently out. 1086 in the building. What's going on? Hope you're having a great day. He said 1086 live and direct here. Yes, sir. Hope you're having a great day, my dude. But without further ado, guys, I don't know if you guys heard about this. Mr. Motivations, Eric, if you're hearing this right now, said Mr. Motivation said, "What time do the Ravens play on Sunday?" Oh my gosh, that's funny. Not Mr. Motivations. I was funny. Not Mr. Motivations. That's a good one. That's a good one. But honestly, looking at the schedule, the next time the Ravens play on Sunday is sometime in September. So watch out for that. So once they go back in September, you'll see them playing on a Sunday. But anyway, let's get into our fun little games. Actually, I had one more thing to talk about. I was recently told about this today, and the fact is that the FIFA is trying to implement a blue card. Yeah, you got the yellow card, you got the red cards, and now they're implementing a blue card. I think it's a story you really got to watch out for, and I have more information for you on next episode to really talk about it when Eric's here. But FIFA is implementing a blue card in the sense where it's kind of like serving like a timeout, where the player will be put off to the side, not able to play for 10 minutes, and they're basically playing a man down. And if he comes back in and he gets a yellow card, it ultimately means he's getting a red. So basically, he comes out with a blue card, and if he comes back in the game and he gets a yellow card, he will just get a straight red. There's something along those lines, which is a very interesting story, but I will get more information on the rules on that in the future and when they're thinking about implementing it. Because it's one of those things where I think it's kind of a waste. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Like, why do we need to add another card? We already got the green cards. We already got yellow cards. We already got red cards. We already got to add blue cards. Like, what are we doing at the end of the day? Erickson, I'm here in the comments. He said 10 minutes is wild. He said 10 minutes. Who said 10 minutes, Mr. Motivations? 10 minutes is wild. He said, I'm sick. And Eric said, all those teams suck. All those teams suck anyway, David. Who? What teams? What teams? Oh, breaking news. The Pistons have waived Danilo Gallinari, like anyone cares. But there you go. Let's get it. And guys, comment down below. We're going to get into our lovely Podal, Who Are Ya, and Weddle. So I would like you guys to drop down below, if you could, an NBA player, a soccer player, and a NFL player. So please do. But real quick, I'm watching the Knicks game currently, and the Knicks are losing 59-48. They are without Jalen Brunson, Julius Randle, OG Anunoby, Mitchell Robinson, and their starting lineup, I'll tell you right now because it's very concerning. The starting lineup of the New York Knicks tonight is, in fact, Jesus Christ. The starting lineup for the Knicks is, in fact, Miles McBride as point guard, Josh Hart as shooting guard, Dante DiVincenzo as small forward, Precious Achiuwa, and Isaiah Hartenstein. On the bench, Taj Gibson, Charlie Brown Jr. I don't even know who that is. Charlie Brown Jr.? Did I just read that right? Freaking Charlie Brown Jr. Look at that. Charlie Brown Jr. I'm not kidding you. Charlie Brown looks a little different. And also Jacob Toppin, which is Obi Toppin's brother. So they basically got nobody playing right now. But Mr. Motivation said Harrison Barnes. All right, let's do it. Whoa, what is this? Eric, what is this? Eric, what is this? Did they change? Did they change this? We're trying it out. They changed the Podal. We're gonna do it. What was the name? Harrison Barnes. Let's do it. Oh, this is weird. Okay, so he's not in Pacific, and he's not a forward. so he's had to be point guard. We got Northwest OKC. Can we go Shea? Okay. He's in the West. He's in the Northwest. And he's a guard. His number is 6'5" or 6'4", and his age is 24, 23. Can we go with Anthony Edwards? Okay. I'm trying to think. So we got the Denver Nuggets. We got the Utah Jazz. The Portland Trailblazers. Jamal Murray is the only one that's really popping in my head right now. So he's not in Denver. So he has to be on. We'll go Colin Sexton. He's on Utah. Farts. Yeah, Eric, I think you're just behind, dude. I think it's what it is. Yeah, I don't know why they want to do that blue card stuff either. And they're just bickering back. And the bickering in the comments. It's funny. He's on Utah. And that's weird because they just traded for everyone, so we don't even know who it is. He's on Utah. Okay, let's go to the lineup. You got Harrison. You got Walker, John Collins. Jesus Christ, who's on this team? Tucker? Oh, it's him. Oh, nice. That was weird. I didn't like that at all. Did not like that at all. All right, so we got that one. So that's good. W. Let's go into some football. And football, we're using Derek Brown. So let's get it. Oh, it's offense first. So we'll just go with Lamar Jackson. He's in the NFC, not a cornerback. 6'3", 6'4", age 26, 25. Let's go with Darren Waller, maybe? He is a tight end in the NFC. He's 6'4". 6'4". Okay, in the NFC. Well, if we look at the NFC, trying to think of these divisions. Okay, NFC North, you got TJ Hawkinson, maybe? Farts. It's literally TJ Hawkinson is not it. So he's not in NFC North, not in NFC East. He's already NFC South or the NFC West. You go George Kittle, maybe? I don't think Kittle's that young, but yeah. He's in the NFC West though. Tyler Higbee. Noah Fant. Hey, let's go, baby. Let's go. Seattle Seahawks, Noah Fant. Now we're playing hard mode. We gotta start off with Noah Fant. Say an NFC, not on offense. Great. Let's go with Bobby Okereke. He's a linebacker. He's 28. No, he's 29 years old. 29. He's a linebacker. Let's go with somewhere. Let's go Edwards. I think Edwards. Yeah. He's on NFC North. So that means he's the NFC South. Oh, far. It's not this division. Trying to think, guys. He's in the NFC South. Tampa Bay. Let's go Devin White, maybe. No, that's not it. But let me go Levante David. No Levante. Okay. Number's 54. Okay, he's not on Tampa Bay. So let's go through these teams. Mario Davis. No, not David. Davis. Not Demario Davis. So he's either on the Atlanta Falcons or the Cardinals. Most motivations. You got any Cardinals players we can use? You got any Cardinals players? Not Cardinals. Panthers players. He's a linebacker. Go Brian Burns, maybe. Is Burns even a linebacker? He is, and he's on Carolina. Oh my God, GG's. Who the hell's on Carolina? That's a linebacker. Luke Kuechly. Like 10 years ago. Let's think. I don't even know that team, to be honest. Oh, the guy from the Jets that used to be on there. Luvu. Frankie Luvu. You gotta be kidding me, dude. This guy has like 3 names in his last name, so let's see if we can try this out. Something Hill. So we're just gonna search up Hill. No, his last name is Hill. It's 3 names. Yeah, there we go. 3 names. GG's. Good game. And I need a soccer one to close it out. There we go. So I do know some players in the Carolina Panthers. And last one to close it out. No, this motivation was whatever his name is. Shaquille, what is it? Hill, something like that. Yeah, Camus Guriel Hill. I need a soccer player if y'all have one. And guys, also down below, if you are watching this stream right now and you haven't hit that like button down below, please make sure you hit that like button. And also, we'll be wrapping up soon, so make sure you do it quick before the show's over. Just saying. And also, if you're new, make sure you hit that subscribe button. And also, if you don't follow us on Instagram, follow this thing down below that's going real fast. Yeah, follow us and look at our handle right there. Ms. Motivation, I don't know who that is. It's a Deco. No, it can't be. It has been Deco. Are you talking about the legend Deco? Nah. It has to be like top 5 leagues. So also shout out to Mystery Sauce. Thanks for popping out, dude. I appreciate you. Hope you're having a fantastic day. Also, he said Deco, no, it has to be like someone from the top 5 leagues. Either that's Premier League, La Liga, Serie A, Liga, or Bundesliga. Eric said Bowen. Oh, his Frimpong and the icon of your motherland. Yes, sir. You gotta love Deco, bro. Deco. I remember watching that guy play. I mean, I never really watched him play, but it was just fun, seeing a legend like that under your nationality. Just saying. Where am I going? I'm just trying to get something done real quick, guys. Anyway, we're gonna go with James Bowen. Oh, why do these ads keep on popping up? I swear to God, I do not want a Samsung Galaxy S4. I don't S24. I'm sorry, they're up to 24 now. Jesus Christ, they don't ever stop. All right. Mystery Sauce. We're gonna go with James Bowen because Eric said Bowen, so we're gonna go with that. It's not Bowen. It's not James. Bowen. What's his first name? Jared. Sorry, Jared. I'm so sorry for all your West Ham fans out there, and it's not Prem Farts. Jeez. Let's go Valverde. Okay. It is not in La Liga either. Okay. Oh, I didn't share the screen? Oh, crap. Thanks, Eric. No, you're not bugging. I just didn't share the screen. My bad, guys. That's a boo on my part. Yep. To go Frimpong. Okay. Let's do it. First, I want to see. I mean, it fits. It helped me get if it's Bundesliga. Is it not? It's not Bundesliga. Okay. So we're Serie A or Liga. If we go Liga, we're gonna go Danilo Pereira. Danilo Pereira. It's Liga, and he's on PSG. On PSG, League. Liga. We're gonna go with. Oops. For his name, farts. Vitinha. Vitinha. Oh, let's think. Trying to think of that midfield, man. All right, let me put my cap on. Let me get my thinking cap on. Okay, in the midfield you have Danilo Pereira, Vitinha, and of course I know all the Portuguese soccer players, right? Solier. Too easy, guys. Too easy. No, it was freaking Solier. Asensio. Nah, that was a good one too, Eric. He's still Spanish though. It's close. Let's go. Yes, sir. But Solier, I watched him play at Valencia. I remember him at Valencia because I used to play at FIFA and used to do the career mode, and I would always pick Valencia as my La Liga team because they had like a good amount of money. It's like FIFA 21. They had a good amount of money and like a decent team, so you would just build off of that. And then I would sign Cristiano Ronaldo. And we would score like 600 goals a game. It'd be ridiculous. But yeah, no, Solier is a beast at freaking Valencia. That's for sure. But without further ado, guys, I think this is a great way to close out on the hour mark of today's episode. Like we say after every single show, we appreciate you every single once, and I mean me and Eric, but we appreciate you guys every single day, every single episode. You guys are the best. We appreciate you guys so much, and without you guys, we couldn't do anything. But if you haven't done already, make sure you hit that like button down below and subscribe if you're new. I hope everyone has a great day. For everyone in this chat, from anyone at home and all their families, I hope you have a fantastic day, fantastic weekend. And if you are in America, enjoy your Super Bowl. If you're not American, you like American football, enjoy your Super Bowl. And if you're not, don't like any sports, enjoy your weekend. And yeah, guys, peace out. Have a fantastic day. Mystery Sauce says, peace out, brother. Appreciate you, dude. Have a fantastic day. Have a fantastic weekend. And yeah, enjoy it, my man. Got some good Prem games coming on this weekend. And also, without further ado, guys, it's been your boy David, and we are out, guys. See you next episode. Peace. Love y'all.